Hello again. We come to you today from just outside Dallas, Texas. We have just dropped off the Casita trailer at Campers for Rent. That's Campers, the number 4 Rent. They were very nice, helped us out, gave us a nice Casita trailer to use. It was in good condition and everything on it worked pretty well. So now we're on a mad dash. We are going to drive about, well, I am going to drive about 3,000 miles in the next 4 or 5 days. It's about 1,600 miles back to Southwest Florida, where I will be dropping Mrs. E-Hermes off. She's going to again take a flight back to Cleveland. I'm going to jump in the Tesla that we had to drive down at Christmas because we couldn't get a flight and race the jet back to Cleveland. She is giving me a full day's head start, so maybe I can beat her. So that's the plan. It's going to be a lot of driving, a lot of charging, not much sightseeing. Welcome back to E-Hermes, your electric adventure travel channel. Please remember to subscribe, hit the like button, and hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content. You know what I always say, if you don't arrive with 5% or less, you aren't trying. 3%, we are really trying, mostly trying Mrs. E-Hermes' patience. Anyhow, we arrived in Madisonville, Texas. We were at this one on the way down, although it looks like the one I pulled up to is unavailable, so we're going to have to move. So this is actually our second charge. Our first charge was in Race City, Texas. I got so excited because we went to Panda Express for dinner that I forgot to record the video. We did have some problem with the charger. Had to call, have them reset it. It charged for a little while, then it quit. I moved chargers. They all said, it might have been my app actually, because they all said I was already charging, even though nothing was connected to the truck. So we got that straightened out with the very nice people from Electrify America, which I have to say, even though their chargers don't always work, I always find their customer service people to be very helpful and very friendly. So we're going to get charging here. This is probably going to be a while because we're at 3% using all of that battery. Get it up to 80%, probably about 45 minutes. This is the Walmart Not Supercenter. So I'm not sure what we're going to do here. Maybe we'll find something else to eat. I'm not sure, but let's get going. So again, here in Madisonville, Texas, the app would not get it to start, but my credit card did. It costs more this way because you don't get the members discount thingy. But that's okay. We're getting really good speed at 155 kW, so I'll take that. So we're going to go ahead and charge using the credit card instead of the app. Here we are again, back outside Beaumont, Texas, town called Vidor, V-I-D-O-R, not quite sure. 4 chargers, 2 of them completely off. Good morning. It is cold and rainy, 50 degrees and drizzle and kind of dreary this morning in Lake Charles, Louisiana. We're on day 2 of our 3,000 mile sprint. We have 1,000 miles to go to get to Sanibel, then I'm dropping Mrs. E-Hermes off. She's getting on an aeroplane. I am then driving the Tesla back to Ohio. Had a good night's sleep at the DoubleTree by Hilton. They give you those really good cookies there. They were really good. Last couple places I've been to, they've been out of them when we check in, but not only did they have them, they gave us each an extra one, so we're very happy for that. So we will be driving here for about another hour and a half, then we'll have our first charging of the day in Beau Bridges, Louisiana. All right, first charging stop of the day, Beau Bridge, Louisiana. Something wrong with my app or something, because every time last couple days, I have not been able to start the machines with the app. I've either had to use the credit card or plug and charge or something. But we're going to be here for a little bit. We're going to go and get some breakfast. Actually, Mrs. E-Hermes is going to go use the restroom. Then we're going to go get some breakfast, and by then, at these speeds, we should be up to 80% and ready to go. Here we are in Hammond, Louisiana, at the Target instead of Walmart for a change. And we're doing our charging. Let's see if I can switch this around. Maybe I can. We used the charger in Gulfport on our way here, and we found that it was rather slow. So if I can avoid that one and stay here longer, especially if I'm getting really good speeds here, that's what I'm going to do. So that's the plan. We'll see how long we have to stay. If I have to go all the way to 100%, I won't stay that long. But if I have to stay to 90, I'll probably stay and do that. As you can see, we are to 82% charge, and we are probably still not enough. And even at 90%, I don't think we're going to be able to skip Gulfport, Mississippi, and get all the way into Florida here. So I think we're going to have to stop here for a little bit. It is slow, but it's probably no slower than at 80%, we're probably down to about 50 kW on the charger. So I think these were running about 60 or 70. and this is only going to get much slower as we go on from 80%. So we're going to go ahead and leave. We'll stop in Gulfport, Mississippi for a little bit. We won't need long, and then we'll get over here to this one in Florida. Here we are at the Gulfport, Mississippi Premium Outlets, charging relatively slowly, which is why I didn't want to come to this one. We're just going to get enough here that we can safely get past Mobile and into Florida there, and then we will take off. I'm hoping that one will be better, although I've never used that one because up until this point we used the back roads getting here. So we'll see how that next one is. Got to be better than this one. Famous last words. Here we are entering the state of Florida. You'd think we're about home, but we still have about 700 miles to go. Florida's a big, long, skinny state. It's bad enough going north to south, but now we have to go across the whole panhandle and then most of the way south too. So we've still got quite the drive to go. Here is Mrs. E-Hermes at the Pensacola Square Shopping Center. We're getting decent speeds, and there's Pedro's Tacos and Tequila Bar. So that's where we're going while we charge. I definitely ate too much at Pedro's. Now I can hardly walk, hardly get back in the car. But it's time to go. Here we are charging in Chipley, Florida at the Electrify America at the Walmart Supercenter, of course. Just charged beside a Rivian. I'll show you a picture of that real quick. So we got 4 stations here, obviously. The one on the end is off completely. And this one, even though it's lit up, says unavailable. Electrify America, man, you're killing me. Killing me. So we get to our Tallahassee, Florida charging location where the truck told us to go. I have 6%, I think 11 miles range. I get here and they're closed. They're updating them, and in the meantime, they leave us with absolutely, positively nothing. Bumpkus, nothing. So now we have to go find a level 2 if we can get to it. Good times, good times. Good job, Electrify America. So after getting kicked in the balls by Electrify America, we were able to find a ChargePoint 50 kW charger about 5-6 miles away, and we're able to crawl over here. I think we got here with 3%. And if you're not under 5%, you're not trying, so we're definitely trying. Unfortunately, we have to sit here for probably 2 hours because it's only 40 kW. It's rated at 50 kW. I'm only getting 40 right now. We'll see how that goes to get to the next Electrify America, if in fact it exists and is actually operational. Very disappointing. This is why we can't have nice things. This charger chugged away at between 40 and 45 kW, and about an hour and a half later, we have 65%. We're ready to hit the road and get on our way. Thank you, ChargePoint. We are at the Lake City, Florida Electrify America. This is actually working, although the app didn't work. I had to use a credit card. It's costing me 44 cents instead of 23 cents or whatever. Anyhow, it's working. That's all I care about. We're at the S&S food store. And when we get enough here to get to Gainesville, we're going to head there. We're going to actually stop for the night. Mrs. E-Hermes does not feel like pulling an all-nighter, so we're going to get a hotel room for the night and finish the drive in the morning. Then I will go to bed again tomorrow night, get up early on Monday morning, and head to Cleveland. We stopped at a Hampton Inn & Suites in Gainesville, right on the highway, and got a few hours sleep. And more importantly, they had an EV charger, and while it's a pretty slow level 2, we did get about 30% overnight, 35% overnight, and we were only here about 6 hours. So I have to decide when we get in the truck if we're going to run over to the Electrify America charger here, which is right across the street, or just head home and come stop at the first one we come to. We are at 57%. Has us charging 1, 2, 3 times. I'm not sure we need both of these if I stay at this one long enough. I don't see any reason to charge further here. It won't give us enough to be able to skip this one and get to here. So we're going to go ahead and I think that one that says the Villages, I think that's Ocala maybe. We're going to go ahead and charge there. And then at the second one, and maybe stay at the second one long enough to get home. We can get home with really next to nothing because I know I have a charger there. Even though I don't need it and wasn't going to use it anyhow, I did drive by the Gainesville Electrify America station, and once again, they're upgrading it, which is admirable. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy for the upgrades. These Signet systems seem to be much more reliable than the old
ABB units, but, and the ABB unit they leave for the CHAdeMO combination unit. But I gotta believe there's a way they can do this and at least leave that one station they're not replacing operational. I know it might be a little more inconvenient for them, but man, this is really bad if you need a station and it's down like this and you're expecting it to be there. Here we are at the Walmart Supercenter in Bushnell, Florida. These are the older units, I believe. Oh no, these are Signet units, so these are not the old ABMBs. They must have upgraded these already. It's getting okay speed, just getting started, may go up a little higher. We're gonna stay here, and then it wants me to stop 2 more times, one at an EV Go in Bradenton, and then 1 more time at Port Charlotte, Florida. I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm gonna stay here long enough to get to Bradenton, and then stay at Bradenton long enough to get home. Here we are at the Bradenton, Florida EV Go fast charger. This is a 350 kW charger at a Wawa gas station. I love Wawa gas stations because they're open 24 hours, they have restrooms, and they have food, everything you need while you're charging. Did have to shoo a young man away parking his big old gas vehicle in front of these, but he moved when I asked him to, so that's fine. I also like the fact that they name these instead of having numbers. We have April, I'm actually using Homer, there's Maori over there. Not sure where they get the names, but that's what we're doing. So we're gonna be here for about 10 minutes, and then this is our last stop. Then we'll be home, unload this, get a night's sleep, and jump in the Tesla tomorrow and head to Cleveland. Not only do they have food here, they will actually bring it to you while you charge, in case you don't want to walk the 30 steps into the building. Well, we are done with the first part of our journey. Mrs. E-Hermes is done with the journey because she's flying back to Cleveland. We're heading back over the causeway onto Sanibel. We've gone about 1,700 miles since we were just east of Dallas. Back here, then I'm gonna, as I said, unload the car, unload the truck, load up the car, get a few hours sleep, and jump in the Tesla and head back to Ohio. I didn't really intend for it to be this type video, but it appears as though it's going to be a comparison video of the 2 types of charging with the frustrations we've had with the CCS chargers coming from Texas back to Florida. Let's see how it goes with the Tesla chargers and other Tesla issues tomorrow. Good cloudy, rainy morning. It's a new day. We got the truck home to Sanibel. We got it unpacked, had some dinner, got some sleep, took a shower, and now I've jumped in the Tesla this morning, heading to Cleveland. The GPS in the car says I have 24 hours of driving and charging without sleeping. I doubt that I'm going to do it in one shot. Having driven hard for 3 straight days now, I don't think I can do 24 straight hours. Even getting a night's sleep last night, but we'll see. We'll see how I feel when nighttime comes. We're looking forward to seeing how the charging goes on this trip. We have the car loaded down with some things that need to go back to Ohio that are too big to take on a plane. And while I like the charging in the Tesla, it is much smaller, it is much noisier road noise, and does not ride as well as the truck. I really enjoy the truck, its size, its comfort, its quietness, just the lushness of it. It feels even more luxurious than the Tesla. But we saw the issues with the charging. Let's see how the issues are with the Tesla. I think we have a dozen or so charging stops we need to make to get home. So here we go. Here we are at our first Tesla stop in Brookfield, Brookside, something like that, at the Winn-Dixie. And we simply plug in, no credit card, no swipe, no app, no nothing. And the speed we're getting off the bat is 175 kW. It may get up to 220, 250. Well, not 250, probably 220, 230. But just for a little bit, then it drops right back off. Honestly, even though you get this big surge at the beginning, overall I don't think it charges much faster than the truck, honestly, because it'll immediately start dropping down. 255, that's pretty good on a 250 kW charger. Like I said, this will not last, and soon it'll drop. It'll drop really quick. So with the Tesla chargers, the best thing to do is charge till it drops off. Maybe you get about 60%, and then head to the next one. There are so many of them, you don't have to really worry about getting left short. But this is what I mean. We're not only
even to 50% yet, and we're all the way down to just under 60 kW. The Ford keeps going at around 120 all the way till 80%. So even though this has a great start, it tails off so quickly that I think the F-150 Lightning, even with the bigger battery, might charge quicker, but we're gonna have to do a test on that and find out. Because we are going to get off the highway, Interstate 75, and go up 301, and there aren't a lot of chargers, we're gonna stop in Ocala. So we've got enough to get there. I'm gonna get out of here now. We'll go there, then we'll go to Jacksonville next. Because traffic on Interstate 75 near Ocala isn't bad enough, they let this monstrosity on the highway to block 2 of the 3 lanes, forcing all the trucks and other slow traffic into the 3rd lane. Here we are in Ocala, Florida. I'm going to show you how it is with the Tesla. When it turns green, it's charging. Just like that. This is stop 2. We're going to be here not very long at all. We have to get up to Jacksonville. It says we need 20 minutes. I think it'll be less than that because it wants me to have 23% capacity when I get to Jacksonville, which is way more than I need. I'll probably go when it says I have 10%. Must be the day for wide loads on Interstate 75 today. All right, 3rd stop of the day, I believe it is. We are just outside Jacksonville, Florida at the Winn-Dixie. Chafee Road, Jacksonville, Florida. The thing I like about this station is there's plenty of food around and the store. So we're gonna be here for a little while. This is the last stop in Georgia, here in Florida. Our next one's in Pooler, Georgia. So it's gonna take about 20 minutes. I'm gonna walk over to McDonald's and get something to eat, and we'll be back on the road. I actually decided to go to the Wendy's instead of McDonald's, but it is interesting to note that the McDonald's drive-thru is open 24 hours, so you can always get something to eat at this stop. All right, so this is what I don't like about charging the Tesla. So I'm at 68%, I'm down to 16 kW. I mean, that's about twice what you get at home. So it wants me to sit here for another 15 minutes to get up to basically Savannah. But I happen to know there's a big charger in Brunswick. So I'm gonna leave here and go there and charge for a little bit there. Rather than sitting here for a long period of time, it's just much better with a Tesla to go for short, low end of the battery charges, not long charges. The truck's a little bit different because the battery's so big and the charging curve is so uniform until you get to 80% that it makes more sense to charge fewer times for longer periods. But with Tesla, you gotta charge for a little bit till it slows down, then go on to the next one. I think this is stop 4. We are just outside Brunswick, Georgia. This one's interesting. Most of them are at gas stations or convenience stores. This one is at a bowling alley. Interesting. This supercharger in Brunswick, Georgia is doing much better than the last one in that even though I'm up to 75%, I'm still getting 48 kW of power, which is not a ton, but at this capacity, that's actually pretty good for this high in the battery charge. So we're gonna stay here a little bit longer, not 9 minutes, enough to get probably 2 more percent so we can get to St. George, South Carolina with 5%. Because anything less than 5%, anything more than 5%, you're not trying. You know how I always say, if you aren't running it down to 5%, you're just not trying? I'd say I'm really trying this run. Anyhow, we are in St. George. Oh, look at that, it popped up to 2%. Just sitting here, because I think the battery cooled off a little bit. We're in St. George, South Carolina. This would be our last stop, I believe, in South Carolina. We're going to charge up here, back down 1%. Oh, back up to 2%. I'd say it's just between 1 and 2%. Anyhow, we're going to charge here, and then we will get back on the road. It's at a food line. I really do like this one because it has pull-through spots, although they put bollards in front of them, so you can't pull through with the trailer. Although I have used that one over there, although one of them's broken. It looks like somebody ran it over. That's not good. Anyhow, they're all working except for that one, and there's nobody else here. We are quickly up to 50%, but we have already slowed down to 59 kW. So we're gonna leave here and go on to Columbia, South Carolina and charge there. We are at the Columbia, South Carolina supercharger. Unfortunately, this is an older one. I've been to this one on every trip I've come on. The first trip I came down to Florida. It's only 150 kW at max speed, so it's gonna take a little longer here. I was trying, but traffic was heavy, so I got here with 7% instead of 5% or less. So we're gonna go in here and take care of some business while we're charging, and then we'll be on our way again. So because of how quickly the speed drops off on the 250 kW chargers anyhow, it really doesn't matter so much that this is only 150. What does matter though is when there's a lot of people here, and there's only 2 other cars here, each 2 cabinets are served by 1 power supply. So if somebody's on the same power supply as you, you're only gonna get half the power, not all the power, and that really does slow things down. Well, fortunately, the lady that pulled in after me skipped a space, so she's on a different cabinet, and the fell down at the end, he's on yet another cabinet. So no sharing going on here, which is good. We've got good speeds. We got about 5 more minutes, and then we're on our way to, I think it's Charlotte, North Carolina, but technically I guess it is still in South Carolina. So I guess we're gonna do 3 in South Carolina. That's kind of unusual. All right, this puts us at the North Charlotte, North Lake Town Center supercharger location. I like this location because there's a lot of food around. It's in a little shopping center with a bunch of restaurants. I don't like it though, because I have never been able to find it easily. It's the circuitous path through the shopping center, and I always seem to miss a couple turns and end up going in circles. But anyway, here I am. I'm going to charge quite a while here because I'm going to go to something to eat, so I may skip some other ones that it already has planned for me. We'll see. We are now at the Holiday Inn Express in Wytheville, Virginia. That's what someone says it is. I think it's Wytheville. They tell me it's Wytheville. Anyhow, that place in Virginia where Interstates 81 and 77 both cross and run together for a little bit. This is my last charge of the night. Actually, I'm going to a hotel, not this hotel, but in a hotel right down the road. And normally I'm tired. I would have just gone there and then come back here and charge in the morning. But it's cold. It's about 31 degrees, so I'm going to be colder overnight. And batteries charge faster when they're warm. This one's fairly warm from being driven all day, so we're going to charge first, and then in the morning we won't have to. The True by Hilton that I stayed in last night is right by the highway. I mean, right by the highway. And even though it's a new building, they must not have put any insulation in the walls because it sounded like this all night. Pretty hard to sleep when you're listening to trucks rumble through your room. Anyhow, we're charged up to 89% from last night. Didn't lose anything overnight. I think we have 2 stops today, and then we will be home. Sometimes when you take the scenic route, you have to wait for some things, but that's okay. We're not in a hurry. Talked to the gentleman working on the road here. He said he's cleaning a tree up that fell over, and they'll be out of my way, and I'll be on my way through. We took a scenic drive through the mountains, stayed off the interstate for the most part, coming through the West Virginia mountains. And here we are in Charleston, West Virginia at the Courtyard by Marriott. We pulled in with 5% because we are trying to be as efficient as we can. We're going to go ahead and get charged here, and I think I'm going to go get something to eat. Somewhere in South Carolina, we saw several chargers that were broken. At least one that was broken, Tesla superchargers. This one is obviously working, but we do have 2, at least, that appear to be broken. So this is the closest thing we've come to a bad station with Tesla when 2 of the 8 are down. Still leaves 6 more. There was only one other car here they just left, so now it's just me. This is it, our last charging stop of the trip. We rolled in with 4% because we were trying to be aggressive on our usage and how long we charge. This is at the Sheetz gas station in Cambridge, Ohio. They renovated this, and I thought they put 250 chargers in, but it looks like there's still 150 chargers, so it's gonna take a little longer to charge. Plus we have to charge a little further because I'm not going straight home. I have to go to my office first, so that's probably 20 miles out of the way, so we'll probably need another 10%. The driving is over. A little over 3,000 miles in 5 days between the F-150 Lightning and the Tesla Model Y. All that charging, and here we are at home, plugged in the garage, the real place, the best place to always charge is at home. It doesn't cost much, and you do it while you're sleeping. Interestingly enough, on this trip, we also went over 60,000 miles. Some reflections on the trip and charging. I definitely prefer driving the Ford Lightning on a long road trip. It is much bigger, much quieter, rides better, and is more luxurious. I even prefer Ford Blue Cruise over Tesla Basic Autopilot on highway trips, although I do prefer Autopilot on 2-lane roads. Surprisingly, I even believe the charging itself is better and overall faster with the Lightning than with the Tesla Model Y. The Tesla charges much faster when the battery is nearly empty, but drops off so quickly that the slower but relatively steady speed of the Lightning up to 80% makes it faster over the full range of the battery. This summer we are going to do a video comparison on a trip with both vehicles side by side and see who really charges faster, so keep a lookout for that later this year. Now, while I prefer the Lightning charging, there is no comparison between the chargers. When I said the Lightning charges faster, that assumes that you are at an open, operational charger. The Tesla supercharger network is so far superior to the hodgepodge of CCS chargers that it is laughable. My dream is when, if, Tesla actually opens their network to all other EVs. On one hand, giving up this huge advantage seems like a poor business choice. But I understand it may open them up to over $1 billion, yes, billion with a B, dollars of federal subsidies, so that makes the business case for doing so quite understandable. It is not only that there are so many Tesla supercharger locations, but more importantly that they are almost always fully operational. Except for our Christmas drive from Ohio to Florida where some people had dropped the charger into the snow, I have never seen a Tesla supercharger location with more than one pedestal out of service. So there are always at least 7 chargers operational at each station, and in many cases a dozen or more. That way you have confidence that when you arrive you will find a working charger. One last thought on chargers. I have heaped scorn on Electrify America, and rightfully so. But I also blame Ford, General Motors, Kia Hyundai, etc. for abdicating responsibility for charging locations. Ford is in the process of making about 2/3 of their dealers install at least one DC fast charger open to the public 24 hours a day. General Motors is taking a different, curious solution where they are having their dealers install level 2 chargers throughout their communities. That does not seem to solve the road trip problem, but at least they are doing something. We hope that you have enjoyed this video showing the charging contrast between the Lightning and the Tesla on a long road trip. If you did, please hit that like button. As always, we ask that you subscribe, and finally, hit that bell button to be notified of our upcoming content, including that head-to-head charging race later this year. Thank you!